Let's get going, Soge.
Yep, straight into Dorado we go. V1kings.Tempo on the red team on the attack. Incipience will be on the blue defending first. And what will be really interesting to me is if we want to see any of the Widow coming out from Incipience and
I definitely think there is going to be quite a bit of widow from both incipients as well as look at that already. We do see a pick coming out of on the side of Doubted going to be playing up that Widowmaker for V1kings.Tempo.
Doubted is the main tank. I believe they are not going to be running him
I'm sorry.
on the Widow.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
just
just
gonna
a
eat my
setup
words
time.
up there. Yeah, it's
Yep,
just a setup
and we are going to take a while to see. Reborns, of course, previously an off tank. This guy has been playing everything. I think he started off as a DPS, played a little bit on main tank on some teams, played off tank on UE, and now he's back on Tempo, now playing that flex support for them. And this is a little bit. We've seen him, and Cal gave us a stat that day that he was only playing Mora and Mercy, and I think he's been really strong on those heroes. Maybe it's showing a little bit of his inflexibility, only being able to play these two heroes. But I think, as a whole, maybe what V1kings thinks coming into this match is that they feel like these are the heroes that he is most comfortable on, or the team is most comfortable playing around on. And like you said, I mean earlier, the new Hanzo, and we are going to see it out of Azalea. Azalea, like I said, a very strong Hanzo player, and I believe we are going to see that coming out from him. Oh no, just debated.
Yeah, we are getting
going on
debated.
to the Genji. I believe they're still a little bit indecisive about that, switching on to the Soldier first before finally settling on the Genji. But this is standard Overwatch League comp. This is
it doesn't get more standard
Sand
than
Mercy dive.
And just as we're saying that, we do see a start coming out of Cal. Cal really kicking it up a notch. Early morning first game, and Cal's already got a start going for us. Third highest average kills per minute, Bubble Kitty, in the whole tournament. V1kings, Cryptic, and Jumo take the 5th and the 6th respectively. Wow. Huge.
Yeah, so these players have been popping off the entirety of this tournament.
Yep.
And I am going to be a little bit surprised that they're not going to choose to run the Widow Junkrat comp, as Jumo is a very strong Junkrat as well as Cryptic being a very strong Widow. However, we are going to see the Genji Tracer dive with Moira Lucio. And it's a little bit odd that they're running Moira with this composition, as I expect something more akin to a Zenyatta Lucio or Zenyatta Mercy that is going to mirror the comp of Incipience here. However, Incipience is going to give up the entirety of the first part. They're not going with any of the forward hold that we see a lot out of earlier on, especially with all these heavy dive comps. Of course, teams like to stall the payload on top of the house that's right next to the spawn, as we're going to see V1kings rotate up to the high ground, trying to get around towards the right side of Incipience, and they're going to poke now, finally going to come in here. Dive coming in onto the backline. Cup is under pressure, Xeon Flux as well, but Xeon Flux is going to be able to take out Doubted. Doubted falling first. That's the main tank down for the side of V1kings.Tempo. V1kings.Tempo is not going to be able to take this point, more likely than not.
Oh my gosh, that is a very
really
early
fast
play.
Dragon Blade.
That is huge. And he catches V1 as well.
Insanely quick Dragon Blade.
Oh my gosh. Well, he was already at about 65% there, just with the poke. Yep. And Cryptic was nowhere near around 30-35%, so I'm not sure what that dive was all about, but I feel like Doubted...
And the hugest mistake that came out of that dive, Emmy, if you look at the ultimates coming out of Incipience, Cup and Xeon Flux have completely built their ultimates because of the failed dive coming in from V1kings, and they're going to have both support outs coming into this next fight. As we see the early pop of Coalescence coming out, Transcendence will finally be popped from Xeon Flux. However, they already lost their Mercy and their Genji with no rest there. 2 members down from the side of Incipience, and this gas are going to be permanent. Cryptic finally building up his first Dragon Blade is going to be able to take down 2 with it, and that's probably going to be the push for V1kings.Tempo.
See, that was a very well coordinated dive between Doubted and Cryptic. Cryptic used that dash to the best of his abilities, and he was able to take down. They were able to take down 2 even before the fight started, right? Before the defensive ultimates could come out, they were able to take out.
See the defense coming in here. Savage that's gonna jump onto the point first. As Bubble Kitty takes out his counterpart in the form of Jumo, as Sound Barrier coming out from V1kings.Tempo is going to keep them healthy on the point. Jumo still is dead though, 5v6 on the point right now for V1kings.Tempo. V1kings.Tempo still very healthy though, not really falling low, making me eat my words, as Azalea is going to be able to take out Cryptic, and Incipience is stabilizing on the point with that Valkyrie. A huge ultimate advantage coming into this fight. Valkyrie much stronger ultimate than Sound Barrier, I feel.
Yep.
As I believe they're going to be able to stabilize completely here, and I think they're going to be able to hold the next fight as well with the ultimates coming out. Xenofly, Bubble Kitty, and Azalea all having their ultimates.
Well, all V1kings.Tempo has is a coalescence, and they've got a pulse bomb, but Jumo's really gonna have to come good with this pulse bomb if they want to be able to do something about this. They look like
but don't forget, Emmy,
trouble.
the last push, V1kings.Tempo was in this exact same situation with only the coalescence and Cryptic only coming close to the blade, but they managed to take the push. But that pick from Bubble Kitty is gonna shut down this next push. I'm sure that V1kings.Tempo will not want to come into this next fight only 5v6, but they might have to with 49 seconds left. They are forcing the fight here. Xeonflux is going to take a pick onto Iron, and with 4v6, I think this is a very lost fight. Azalea missing a few slashes finally is going to catch Reborns on the side there, and it's going to be clean up central here for V1kings.Tempo for Incipience as V1kings.Tempo gonna have to stagger backwards all the way back to their spawn with 30 seconds left.
Did you catch that brilliant stick from Bubble Kitty onto?
I saw that. That was incredible.
That was just brilliant. It was the blink pulse.
Single-handedly shutting down that push.
Yeah, and that's it. And they had to take a 5v6 fight, and they were just not ready. So V1kings.Tempo really getting caught.
Yeah, one advantage for V1kings.Tempo is that they didn't pop anything coming into that fight. They will still have that coalescence. They're closer to their blade. The tank ultimates will be here soon. As another deep dive coming in from V1kings.Tempo, not being able to get anything. As Xeonflux will pop the Transcendence. No punish coming out from the side of V1kings. As the Valkyrie getting popped from Cup, a very strong ultimate. Xenofly is going to take out his counterpart. Random name going down as the double max coming out from both teams. Azalea going huge with picks onto both supports, and I believe this is the beginning of the end for V1kings.Tempo as Incipience very clean on this Dorado defense. Gonna be able to pull out this point once they get rid of Doubted on the point, as I believe V1kings.Tempo not gonna be able to return as Iron and Random name very far away.
I gotta give a lot of credit to the supports of Team Incipience. Okay, yes, Bubble Kitty did play an amazing round there, but the supports just doing so much work, so much coordination between both the supports. It's the fact that they did not tally their ultimates together. Xeonflux popped that early Transcendence. Cryptic had the blade. Xeonflux popped that early Transcendence, and because he's getting pressured, right? There were 4 people on him. There was no way Cup was going to be able to keep him alive. Zeno probably ran out of DM there. He pops the early Transcendence. As soon as the Transcendence ends, Cup popping that Valkyrie, keeping everybody healthy. Xeon immediately retreating because he knows he's got to draw the Tracer away from the fight, and that's exactly what he does. And Xeon does lose the 1v1 against the Tracer, against
Yep, and we have a stat here. Emmy, would you like to read out the stat for the audience to see?
I would, but I just wanted to mention that Xeon and Cup just pretty much, for me, that was a brilliant support performance. Okay, Dorado don't. This is the first time V1kings.Tempo is playing Dorado in this tournament. It's the second time for Incipience. Wow, we've really not
so
seen
maybe Incipience having that, one match more experience on the Dorado, showing their experience here, being able to full hold out. But, okay, so this is exactly what I thought that V1kings.Tempo was going to try and gravitate towards when they saw that Incipience was playing the hard dive and it was to play a complete anti-dive comp. Like I said, V1kings.Tempo has shown themselves to be incredible on these triple tank compositions, rotating the aggro between your 3 tanks incredibly well, nobody taking too much damage at any given point of time. And now with the release of Brigitte, and Brigitte, finally these teams having time to practice with the Brigitte, they're going to integrate that into the strategy. Instead of the normal triple tank Lucio Moira with the Junkrat, we're gonna see triple tank, triple support with Reborns picking up that Brigitte.
Yeah, this is a strangely new composition. Triple tank, triple support with a Mercy and a Zenyatta. I want to really see how they make this work. So we're gonna have a Brigitte cam on like we usually typically do whenever there is a Brigitte in the game.
Yeah, Reborns is just going to be watching the flanks, making sure that Bubble Kitty on that Tracer, if he comes around that right side, as you can see, he can LOS the right side with that third person. Bubble Kitty doesn't know that this is coming, and it's going to instantly get taken down by the Brigitte, and that is the strength of the Brigitte, being able to delete Tracers from the point. And Bubble Kitty, I know his frustration against Brigitte, he might be starting to tilt.
Yeah, using that shield to make sure he has a line of sight.
He's gonna swap off onto the Pharah. The moment they see this triple tank, triple support composition, the call from Incipience comes out, and straight away they're gonna swap to the pharmacy.
Yeah, they're not gonna hold out, and this is the right decision. They're not wasting any time because they don't need to waste any time. Rebound dropping very low, immediately gonna get taken down, and just like that, Bubble Kitty gets his revenge. Zeno gonna be able to take down Rebounds, and now this just looks like it's just free shooting for the side of Incipience. This is exactly what they wanted, right?
Yeah, they have no counter for Bubble Kitty right now.
There's nothing they can do against Bubble Kitty's Pharah, and that's all she said. Look at this, Bubble Kitty sitting at about 70% of his ult charge. There's that blade from, oh my gosh, that ended faster than I could finish
Very
my
decisive win coming out from Incipience on Dorado there.
Yep. And I don't even know what to say. Incipience played that beautifully, literally. And the attack phase, even then, not giving up the point, coming back into it with so much resilience, recontesting. Azalea with these blades, he popped a total of 3 blades on attack, on defense. I'm sorry, it was huge. The way he charged up that first blade, to me, like pretty much MVP. And look at the stats. We see the card. Look at the cards. All 4 cards are on the side of Incipience. 80% kill participation on a Mercy. Now, I'm getting a little triggered by that. I'm a Mercy player and 80% kill participation, that's very scary. That's very, very
Yeah,
scary.
man. How well Incipience manages their support ultimates and how well they're able to juggle the support ultimates between Cup and Xeon Flux there, especially with, like you mentioned over the broadcast, that they would pop the Transcendence first when the initial dive came in, making sure that Xeon Flux stayed alive, and then Cup being able to pop his Valkyrie right after. And I believe it's with that Valkyrie how he managed to get the 80% kill participation on the defensive assist, as the heals coming in are so strong. As we're going to move into Hollywood there, same sides. It's going to be Vikings on the attack yet again, and Incipience on the defense.
Yep, that does not change at all the entire night, guys. The teams will not swap out. That has been the one ebb and flow for XP Overwatch Community Cup. Incipience will stay blue, V1kings.Tempo will stay red. Those are the colors they've been assigned for this series, and let's see how things pan out for both these teams, as Cal has been killing it with these stats. So we saw how less maps like Dorado have been played. Hollywood, meanwhile, has been played a lot more than Dorado has. If I'm not mistaken, let me go ahead and draw out a bit of a cal stat for you guys. I do have the map set up, maps picked in the tournament up until this point. Let me look at that really quick. So, Dorado actually has been played quite a bit. Hollywood, though, yes, there is definitely more. Has a better map rank in the tournament than Dorado does. There has been a little bit more playtime on Hollywood than there has on Dorado. So yes, I am right about that. Anyway, getting into this, Incipience had a phenomenal performance there on Dorado. How do you think they're going to bring forth that aggression, that momentum into this round, into this game?
Well, we've seen this composition from before from them, where they run the Orisa on Savage Dab, as well as I believe I'm not exactly sure if they were running the Junkrat last time. I believe it was like a Sombra Tracer coming out from Bubble Kitty and Metallics, or a Sombra Genji. But Savage Dab definitely on their Orisa. I believe they like running the Orisa on this point, especially. It is a very strong hero, being able to hold up in that cafe. Very unkillable, especially with the amount of support focus we see coming out from Cup and Xeon Flux. And Azalea, a very strong Junkrat player, I believe much stronger than Metallic, so this might actually be an advantage for them, as Junkrat is very strong on this map. Bubble Kitty is going to stay Tracer, however, running a Tracer Junkrat.
I actually would have loved to see a defense Farah like he pulled out the other day, man. It was just beautiful to watch. Bubble Kitty playing that defense Farah on Hollywood. We did see it.
Yep, and we're going to see the comms I was expecting to see from Vikings, in the sense that they're going to be running this triple tank. But this time, instead of triple support, they're going to swap out. They're going to swap out a few of their supports, one of them for a Junkrat.
A Junkrat,
to be
yes.
specific.
Because they are expecting the Orisa comp coming out of Incipience here, right?
Yep, I think definitely if you've been watching the Incipience bot, you would expect to see the Orisa come out on this map. This is no surprise, as they rotate around to the back, around the back alley.
Oh my
However,
God.
they're taking a lot of spam from Azalea, who's been completely uncontested on this high ground. And Reborn's just getting no space, as Brigitte, as you know, needs to start hitting heroes to generate any healing at all. A lot of this burden is on Iron to keep his tanks up. Iron is going to get the coalescence first, however, as huge pick coming out from Azalea onto Jumo.
We did catch that,
This might actually be winnable for V1kings.Tempo, as 3 were already down. Remnade is going to clear out Azalea, although really fast tie coming out from Azalea. Bubble Kitty going to be the last on the point, but I believe with a Brigitte on point, Bubble Kitty not long for this world is going to get taken down by a nicely placed fire strike from Doubted.
So I gotta say, V1kings.Tempo took the right positioning. And despite the fact that they got pressured really hard, Agent was able to keep the entirety of his team up, because the Incipience just not being able to take the fight to them. And now we see the swaps coming out from Incipience. They're running that Farah Mercy
Bubble Kitty immediately onto the Farah.
Yep, that's the comfort pick, right? They want to go onto that the moment they feel like they're losing even a little bit of momentum in this game, and it's the right
like
pick.
I said, I think Farah's going to be the crutch for both these teams. The moment they feel it's not going well, they're going to swap onto that Farah as something that they're very comfortable with. And I think Incipience a huge Graviton surge, but Zeonflux is gonna drop Bubble Kitty. Bubble Kitty, a huge part of this team. The rest is gonna come out. Bubble Kitty is still gonna be alive. Valk was popped up a little bit unclean there from the side of Incipience as they pop both the supports out, stacking them a little bit. Zeonflux is gonna get taken down by the mech bomb from Random Name 69.
I think
with
this is gonna fall for
Random Name going huge, taking out the Pharah yet again, and this time with no rest to bring Bubble Kitty back up. Cup as well, falling to Jumo. I believe that's gonna be all she wrote there for Incipience, as this is gonna be a very clean first part of the street space being taken by V1kings.Tempo. As Azalea being forced out, gonna get hit by the fire strike from Doubted. Gonna be forced back into his supports.
A pretty delayed fight though, right? I'm impressed with the way how Incipience was able to delay that for at least about 45 seconds. Not able to, you know, not just giving them free space, not dying instantaneously. Staggering on that.
One thing I want to point out actually, Emmy, is that Jumo swapped off the Junkrat instantaneously when he saw that
yes,
absolutely. And he's already got his Deadeye. He did a lot of work in that last fight on the first part of that street space here. As we see a Mech Bomb coming in from Xenofly, this has a potential to be huge. Gonna catch rebounds, Bubble Kitty getting one in the form of Jumo, and this is gonna be 4 kills, 5 kills coming out from the side of Incipience as the members of V1kings are gonna fall as Incipience pop all the outs that they had at that moment to make sure that they held that point, not wanting to get stomped, knowing that V1kings.Tempo going into final point with any form of momentum is gonna be able to crush them pretty hard. So they are gonna reset using all the ultimates that they had at the time, the Diva Mech, the Blade, as well as the Pharah Barrage, managing it very, very well, although they are gonna use a little bit more ultimates than they might have liked, but like I said, it's very important to make sure that the momentum switches back in their favor.
Yep, they did have the momentum there. Jumo getting pressured so hard. Look at this, Azalea and Bubble Kitty constantly on the same target all the time, and they're just not giving V1kings anything. They're not giving them any ground. The payload's not even here, but it doesn't matter. Look at how far ahead Incipience are, how far pushed Incipience are, and they're not leaving them with anything. Bubble Kitty has been
one of the
so
things
on
that
point.
complimented V1kings on was their ability to switch aggro between their tanks, but I think one disadvantage that they're gonna see right now against the side of Incipience is that you can't switch aggro if literally everyone's getting hit. And with a Genji, with a Pharah, and with Savage Dab just going in like that on the Winston, it's not like you can switch aggro between anyone because everyone's just taking damage. And that's exactly what we saw. One advantage for them is that Zeonflux did use the Transcendence, but Zeonflux very confident in his ability to build that. It's already up to 70%, as we're going to see Savage Dab dive in with the usage of the Barrage coming in from Bubble Kitty there. Bubble Kitty already 30% to his next ultimate, and this is probably going to be a stomp from the side of Incipience for this fight, at least, on this team fight. As I think V1kings.Tempo are a little bit stunned as to what they should do here. Like I said, I think it was a smart play from Incipience to take back the momentum on that last fight, using all the ultimates they have just to make sure that the momentum swung back in their favor. They definitely do not want to take any chances.
And I feel like, honestly, I feel like they just don't have enough to take down Bubble Kitty here. He's got that pocket mercy. He's got Cup on him the entirety of it, you know? It's not going to be enough.
And Jumo just takes so much damage from the Pharah, and without a mercy pocket, I feel that McCree is very weak, very susceptible. And like I said, Xenofly gonna be able to take down Jumo, and Jumo's not having a good game today. Bubble Kitty, second team fight, second Barrage, isn't gonna get anything with that this time.
It doesn't matter though, he charges it so damn far, so it's no concern at all to them. He's just gonna get it back instantaneously, and now Azalea does have that blade, but I
was a bit worried that Zeonflux will not have his Transcendence for by the time Cryptic had his Graviton. Oh, as Zeonflux is gonna get taken down, Caster's Curse, apologies to Zeonflux there, as he's gonna immediately get res by Cup. Still gonna have that Transcendence for the Graviton that's gonna come out from Cryptic very soon. As we see Mercy on the side of Cup getting pressured a lot, as Random is going to be able to take out Savage Dab in the backline, overstanding a little bit. Jumo finally getting the space to be able to take down Bubble Kitty, and this is just a huge stagger coming out from the side of V1kings.Tempo onto the members of Incipience. As Incipience, although they had all the map position in the world, all the outs in the world, not able to take that fight. As they just got staggered one by one, not willing to commit the outs the moment one member of their team got staggered.
And I really think that Zeon probably should have Transcendence there. They
like the
were
moment he got rest, right? I think they needed to take the fight there.
Absolutely. That's where you take the fight because Cup's safe. He's back with Bubble Kitty.
And then they just started trickling the kills into the side of V1kings.Tempo.
Exactly. I really think this was avoidable. A little bit of a chink in their armor.
One good thing for them though is that V1kings.Tempo is only going to have a minute and 20 seconds to push this last point. And like we said, a huge out advantage coming in for the side of Incipience. As a stun coming out onto the side of Azalea. Azalea is going to stay alive with the help of that Transcendence from from Xeon Flux though, as both support outs gonna wear out very soon from Incipience. This is go time for V1kings.Tempo with Azalea down, and both support outs expanded from the side of Incipience, trying to be able to take down the members of V1kings.Tempo. However, no one going down there. It's going to be go time for V1kings.Tempo as they are going to push in. Savage Step getting caught out in the back line is going to get taken down. But I think it's a worthy sacrifice if the rest of the members of Incipience are going to be able to take it out without any further casualties.
Yep, that's brilliant because now they can just disengage. They're in the same position. They can't contest the guard yet because they need Savage Step back there. And Bubble Kitty not going to switch off of this Farah. Usually we see on the third point.
I think he values this barrage, which he's going to use, getting completely eaten by Random Name. Good play by him, making sure that the fire barrage completely mitigated there. As a coalescence is going to come out from Iron in the backline, keeping up his tanks, making sure that his tanks don't fall to the pressure coming up from Incipience. As Incipience only one out strong, as we see it getting popped by the side of Xeon Flux. Azalea, he's going to swap onto the Junkrat, already having a Riptide. That's an extremely fast Riptide. It's going to come out here. Nobody falling in the Graviton that's coming out from Cryptic. Savage Step does get taken out after the Graviton. Cryptic very highly charged, is going to have to stay on the point for the sake of his team. And it is now overtime, as we have mentioned. V1kings not having a lot of time. This is going to be a scramble on the point as Cryptic is the last member getting whooped into the air by Bubble Kitty. Cup pulling out his pistol even, trying to get a little bit of damage in with the pistol, as Bubble Kitty is going to clean up house there as the rest of Incipience come back into this fight. As Xenofly with the mech bomb is going to be, he's going to secure the point with it, and that's going to be the hold coming out from Incipience.
Again, I just did not see any value with Zumo playing this McCree. If he was on a more valuable hero, anything, a little bit more of a spam comp at all, at least you wouldn't be giving the side of Team Incipience this much space. Savage Dab in your face all the time, with Cup and Xeon Flux constantly having the, self-speed. Xeon Flux playing so far behind, Cup constantly in the air with Bubble Kitty. There's just no way to kill their supports. You can't kill their supports. You're playing a Brigade, you're playing a triple tank lineup, and you're not able to protect your own McCree at all because he's just getting so focused down so hard. And the moment you popped your cooldowns to keep that McCree alive, all they gotta do is focus down one of your supports. The Moira,
and we have a stat here that this is actually the first time that we see Hollywood being played for V1kings.Tempo. This is the second time it's been played by Incipience. So, deja vu, I guess. Exactly.
Dorado don't, and now Holly wouldn't. Alright, Cal. Alright. Pretty interesting.
So I think it's a bit weird that V1kings drafted this way knowing that they haven't played these maps. Maybe they've played it in scrims and feel comfortable, but I think that yeah, I mean, they did well. They had an idea of what they wanted to run coming into that, which is much better than what I had to say for Dorado, as I think they seem a little bit flustered on Dorado. But Hollywood pulling it together for very clean pushes, especially first point and towards the end of the street phase there, the last push. Although I would say that
I think it was more Incipience's fault,
making that mistake.
Yes.
But the first push on street phase from the side of V1kings, when they took that momentum from first point, was very well managed. Going into the second point there.
I do agree completely. It was more Incipience not holding things together rather than V1kings.Tempo taking momentum, because they did.
Yeah, but that's the weird thing we see about Incipience, right? Is that I feel like their set plays are very strong. It's just that occasionally they make one or two slip ups. Like in Dorado, like the only reason V1kings almost took the point was because Cup got taken down before the fight even started, and I believe it's picks like that will completely swing fights, and we're going to have to see if Incipience is going to be able to hold it together for the full push, as V1kings was almost able to push it to the end of the map. So the win condition here for Incipience, knowing what to do here, is that they basically have to finish the map. As the dive is going to come in from Savage Jam into the cafe, taking down Cryptic immediately, as Bubble Kitty pressuring Doubted alone on the point. Every other member of V1kings.Tempo is going to be forced into the cafe. They are going to consolidate in cafe, however, and take out Xenofly, who was staggered in the back, overextending a little bit, maybe not coordinating with his team as much. However, as the rest of the members of V1kings try to stagger out onto the point, they are going to get taken down. Iron with a very nice snipe there onto Xeon Flux, the battle of the sniper sense, and Iron winning it out there. It's not going to be enough though, as although Cryptic comes on the point and gets two bombing off.
Cryptic killed a total of 3 people on this point, and we saw Agent finish off Xeon Flux there. So that I'm not saying that was unwinnable, but I feel like they could have done better to be able to control that. Jumo,
I think the spawn advantage coming out from the side of Incipience was a bit too much for V1kings to mitigate. And we are going to see Cup swap off the Lucio onto the Mercy for the second point, as a lot of high ground on this point requires that Mercy to be able to heal the tanks and the DPSs who are just jumping on these rooftops that Lucio's not able to do.
At least we see Vikings trying to do it right better this time, right? They have that mercy pocket for Cryptic there to be able to take down that Farah, and Reborn's going to be on that mercy, going to constantly try and find ways to shut down that Bubble Kitty Farah. And I like that Vikings is not trying to emulate what Incipience did with them. They're probably not comfortable with the defense dive, and Bubble Kitty.
Bubble Kitty gonna get a stray rocket onto Jumo, and that's gonna be Jumo down for the fight. One DPS already down. Cryptic gonna pop his ultimate, however, not getting any value out of it. And Savage Dab is gonna go for the deep dive with the Transcendence. 3 ultimates already being popped from the side of Incipients. They're coming into this fight. The Transcendence and the blade being expended. Mac gonna come up from random name, just gonna be able to zone the members of Incipients. As Bubble Kitty falls to Jumo, they're flying a little bit too low to the ground. As I believe the members of Incipients being forced out, as V1kings getting pressured there.
I wouldn't mind this at all, honestly.
But Doubter's gonna back out in the end, as damage boosted Zen is very scary to fight
But
against.
look at the amount of ultimates Incipients made V1kings.Tempo use with just one blade. They used a blade, they used a Transcendence. Okay. But look at the amount of ultimates V1kings.Tempo popped. They popped a Transcendence, they popped a Valkyrie, they popped a Diva Bomb, they popped even the High Noon, they popped even a Pulse Bomb. They popped 5 ultimates to mitigate that blade. Yes, granted, a few of them are back up now, but I wouldn't mind that fight if I was Incipients, honestly. They've got everything coming up now.
Yet again going to be able to pick out Jumo with a stray rocket, and I believe the rest is going to attempt to come up here. No, Reborn's not going to be able to get the rest as the pressure comes up from Bubble Kitty. Savage Dab getting another pick onto Cryptic. Cryptic is going to be the one to get rest, however, but I don't think with the presence that Incipience has on this point that Cryptic is going to be able to do anything, as he makes me eat my words, as Savage Dab overextending into the backline a little bit, going to be able to take out Cryptic, but Cryptic being the sole survivor of that fight, not going to be able to do much, as a sneak pulse coming out from Jumo, able to take out Cup. Cryptic with good positioning, able to take out Azalea, but not close enough to the point. It's going to,
Oh man, if they could have contested that, I think that was a one fight for them. I think they were able to contest that. That was a one fight.
I don't think so, because it was just the Tracer and McCree alive, and the Tracer had already expended the.
No. The Diva was there as well. We saw Zeno getting. We saw random name Trickman getting in there. If he'd managed to get in there a split second sooner, I think that was a one fight for them, because
possibly it's possible.
Incipients didn't have too many bodies on there, honestly. Bubble Kitty was there on that Para. He got taken down, switched to the Tracer immediately, so he could get in the fight immediately. And now Bubble Kitty getting shredded.
High Noon going to come up from Cryptic all the way in the back line. Not going to do much. Sion trying to save Savage Dab with that Transcendence, but a bit late. But this is going to allow Cup to get the res onto Bubble Kitty. I'm not sure if this was the better decision, as I think Savage Dab would have been the better res in that situation. Bubble Kitty, of course, as the Tracer, going to be able to come back into this fight really quickly. And Savage Dab, of course, being a more higher HP hero, going to be able to hold that fight better. But anyway, that's what happened, and Xeon Flux going to expend his Transcendence. No Transcendence for the next fight for the side of Incipients. As we see V1kings.Tempo holding this corner very well, as the mech going to come in from Xenofly, not going to be able to get anything, as Random Name overextending a little bit, trying to get away from the previous mech bomb, is going to throw out his own, not going to be able to get anything, as Iron this time popping his own Transcendence, as Reborn's getting the rest in the backline. As we're going to see a huge skirmish occur at the, next to the point, as Bubble Kitty is going to be able to take out his counterpart there. One member down for the side of Vikings.
So Azalea being discarded here, he knows the entire focus is going to be on him. Cryptic popping up that High Noon, not going to be able to catch anything for the time being. There's the blade coming out there. He gets one, make that 2. Azalea going to work for his team here. Jumo getting taken out as well, make that 3, and Cryptic and Reborn just kiting at this point. And Azalea, is he going to get? Yes, he is. But I think the damage is done there. He managed to take out 3. Bubble Kitty going to be able to finish off Cryptic and finish off Reborn as well.
Savage Dab holding the spawns.
Oh my god.
He's not going to be able to make it back to point.
Yep, that blade was so huge. So huge from Azalea that he managed to take out 3 and nearly took down Cryptic as well. He forced them all the way back, made them line aside the rest of the side of Incipience. And Bubble Kitty as well as Savage Dab are there to be able to, you know, finish off whatever Azalea wasn't able to, despite the fact that he went down, and Cup even managed to get that res off on him at the end, so a bit painful for V1kings.Tempo, but definitely a better performance than the last round, wouldn't you say?
Yep, and I think V1kings.Tempo is really like trying to find their groove, finding their momentum, and this was definitely a much better showing than the previous map. And it might be too hopeful to say, but perhaps they could stage a comeback and try to go for the reverse sweep onto the side of Incipience. But it might be too little, too late, as it's only one map away from Incipience, and it's going to be a little bit of a stretch to say that Incipience is not going to be able to win at least one out of the next 3 maps.
So we are headed straight over to King's Row next. There's the fan favorite, right? Everybody loves King's Row. But I want to ask you this, okay? Do you think a reverse sweep is on the cards? Because we saw this coming out of V1kings.Tempo in their in this time we saw this coming out of V1kings.Tempo where they took the first map very slowly. They didn't take the aggression onto Incipience. And second map we saw flashes of brilliance from V1kings.Tempo. But then again, we saw a chink in Incipience's armor as well. So, do you think that chink's getting a little bigger and a little bit more
I
bigger?
don't think so. I think at the end of the day, from what I've been able to observe, V1kings.Tempo just is not. They can only do one of two things. It's either they counter pharmacy or they counter the full dive. I feel like so far they've not shown that they can counter the full dive as well as the pharmacy in one comp. Because what Bubble Kitty has shown so far as well as Azalea, the moment they see the Brigitte, they swap onto pharmacy. They swap onto pharmacy Genji or pharmacy Junkrat or
there
Junkrat
isn't a
Tracer.
better option against.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Brigitte.
Or if they see that they've been playing counter to pharmacy, they've been running McCree, they've been running Zen, they've been running Mercy. They go full dive, and Cryptic or Jumo, whoever is playing the McCree, is very very susceptible to falling to this to a full dive because honestly, a McCree without the help or without being pocketed by Reinhardt Shield as well as Mercy Heal Beam is gonna fall very very quickly to a coordinated dive, which Incipience has shown to be able to do.
Stat coming out of Cal. Cal's really murdering it with these damn stats. Iggy Azalea. According to Ambition, Azalea is playing without any communication because he left his microphone in Taiwan. Ladies and gentlemen,
That's a
Yeah.
funny stat. I'm not
That's,
exactly sure how true that is, but nonetheless, I think it would be very impressive if
I mean,
if
why
Azalea
would
wasn't
they
be
even
playing
risk
without a
that?
mic,
Is he
as,
that good that he can play without a microphone and still be able to do as much as he
Here's
is?
the funny thing, right? I think that all these like younger, skilled, highly talented DPSs, they don't comp very much. And I think that it would be the same case with Metallics. I'm not sure how much Metallics comps, but if he doesn't comp much, I don't think it's going to be much of a difference as I know who the big talkers on Incipients are. And it's definitely
Xenofly.
probably not coming from the DPSs.
No, it's
So,
not, definitely. I'd say
So I
Xenofly
don't
and
think it's going
Savage
to
have
change
the
their
most
dynamic
vocal
up
ones
that
there.
much, you know?
Xenofly Savage
think
have
it's good,
the
yeah.
most vocal ones there. Easily
For sure.
for sure. So let's see how things go. 2-0 on the side of Incipience, and they've been extremely strong up until this point. V1kings.Tempo, are they going to be able to turn this around? I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're
We'll
going to
probably
try a
find out.
different variation this time. Like I said, you need to run a composition that can counter the pharmacy as well as the dive. And this is what they're going to show this time. They're going to show the McCree, they're going to show the Zen, and they're still going to run that triple. They're still going to run that triple tank.
Yeah.
I think Reborns, correctly so. I don't think he's been practiced enough on the Brigitte. I don't think it's a smart pick, especially if you're not well practiced on it. Because once Bubble Kitty switches off the Tracer, that stops being a free kill for you, and it's not worth having a Brigitte that doesn't do anything if there's no Tracer on the field. Of course, no detriment to Reborns' own skill as he's been playing very well this entire tournament.
Yep,
On
I'm
the
not
other
sure.
heroes like
I'm not
like
sure what
Gamora.
V1kings is waiting for. Maybe just trying to size up Incipience.
I think they're trying to scout out the positioning as they know that Bubble Kitty is on top behind them, and Bubble Kitty has been able to get a ton of damage out already with the
man.
Pulse Bomb. Almost taking down Random Name, is gonna take down Random Name without even having to use the Pulse Bomb.
This is
He's
gonna
trying
be
to use the
going
Pulse Bomb to get the
extremely badly.
instant kill after the DMAC. He's not gonna get it though, missing the timing a little bit there. And I think they're a little bit stumped here by this comp that's coming out from the side of Incipience, as Incipience just playing the high ground. Oh, Savage Dab is gonna get picked by Cryptic. Cryptic playing extremely well on the Zara. I think
100 charge.
as much as we complimented Cryptic's hit scan and Farah, I think his Zara has been very consistent throughout this tournament, and we're seeing it here. As highly charged he is going to be able to get the pick onto Savage Dab. That's a huge pick. Bubble Kitty harassing the backline a little bit. They
Gonna have
turn
to
around,
retreat
they're going to
for the
force him
time
out. As Xenofly is going to be the one to keep the point staggered out, not giving even a tick over to the side of V1kings. As finally they do get one tick. Sion Plus is going to get his Transcendence though, and with the Transcendence, the members of Incipience staying very healthy. Savage Dab switching onto the Winston to get back to this point just a little bit quicker. The Orisa not going to make it back to the point as quickly. So Savage Dab now on this Winston. Now they're going to have to play dive, and while they're playing dive, I don't
Bubble
think they're
Kitty.
going to be able to go into the backlines. Bubble Kitty is going to get taken down by Jumo there, as I think this is the beginning of a nice little hold attack coming up from the side of V1kings. As yes, Incipience is going to give this up as they all back out. with only that one
I think that was a
casualty.
smarter decision, honestly. They were not in any position to be able to get into that. Savage Dab was extremely low. Bubble Kitty getting picked off there. They had nothing. They had no ultimates. Xenofly nowhere near that bomb as well. Now he does almost have it. But they had nothing to be able to contest that. I think
Yeah,
that
but
was
that's
a
the
very smart
disadvantage of
decision.
playing dive on defense on
Yep.
this map, right? Is that you can just, like, you just get forced off the point, and Xeonflux showing his inner Jonak, being able to snipe the enemy Zen all the way back from his own high ground there, all the way in the back.
And you know
line.
what? And you know what? These two have been in each other's throats all night. Agent's been killing the Xeonflux, and Xeonflux has been killing Agent. I can tell there's a giant rivalry brewing between these two players.
And Bubble Kitty is just harassing the back line, getting the pulse bomb onto Iron all the way in the back, caught off camera. Of course.
Man.
A huge tire coming up from Azalea as well, and this opened
There's
up
gonna
by
be a
both the
reset.
DPSs from the side of Incipience. Flashbang from Jumo is gonna come up onto Bubble Kitty, however, not gonna hit the follow-up headshot, and Bubble Kitty is gonna live to see another day.
Yep, and I like the dive. I like the dive switch coming out from Incipience. They are playing this a lot better. They did compose themselves.
I feel like the street space is much better for the dive, as there's no point that you're forced to stand on. There's no square that you're forced to stand on, as the payload, of course, is a much easier target to stagger out than a point, I feel. Especially when there's a huge arch that the payload has to push through. Shatter gonna come out catching nothing as the Zenyatta ultimate, the Transcendence coming out from Xeonflux is gonna mitigate everything that comes out from the side of V1kings, as finally the
there was a grab, but
the
it's
grab
got
bomb gonna
nothing.
get popped, only catching Xenofly not gonna fall in that Transcendence. Savage Dive is gonna fall in the backline, however, overextending a little bit there. The self-destruct coming out from Random Name is not gonna get anything with that. As V1kings.Tempo is bringing this back, getting the pick on Xenofly, however, making me eat my words is the side of Incipience with the DPSs popping off in the backline. Azalea with the pick onto the Reinhardt, as well as Bubble Kitty on the backline, being a menace to the side of V1kings. And
Okay, so
finally,
that Graviton is really gonna hurt them. That was a very poorly placed Graviton from Cryptic, and to a point where he realizes how much it's not working for them now, that they are gonna shop onto the dive. So
yep, I think he realized that the dive is what they need to come out, so they're gonna say, screw it, you know, we're gonna take one fight with the ultimates that we have as this tank composition, and if it doesn't work, we're gonna switch off to dive, and that's exactly what we saw there. There's Iron now on the Lucio Reborns, now on the Mercy. Gonna come into this fight with a full dive composition, basically.
they realize they need to put a little bit more pressure on the backline. Xeon sitting up there, sitting pretty, just constantly dishing out so much damage on the side of...
Yep, Xeon just not getting pressured at all this map so far.
Yeah, and that's how he's been able to get these cheeky picks, right? And now, this is exactly what V1kings needed to do a lot earlier. Now they can put
Xenofly
pressure.
eating the pulse bomb from the Tracer.
Oh, this is huge. That was huge.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I mean, Random Name eating
Random
the
name.
pulse bomb from
Yes, absolutely. That was huge. And they keep the fight going. Cryptic getting very pressured here. He's going to have to dash away, and he's
gonna
kept
dash
alive
out.
by rebounds. Yeah.
As
Huge
both
play.
DPSs from V1kings already have their ultimate, showing how quickly they can charge it. Azalea on the jungler, however, going to get a pick onto the discorded Jumo with the help of Xeonflux, and the mech is going to come in from Xenofly yet again, not getting anything. These zone ultimates we're seeing from Xenofly today, as
this
Random
looks
Name
like
is gonna
this
get
looks like
caught
a
out,
reset.
getting staggered a little bit as Incipients do not want to kill him. They might finally settle for the kill here, as Random Name getting pocketed by both supports.
Yeah,
He's gonna be able to make
they
it
don't
out
want
with
him going
60%
down
of
there.
his ultimate to his name.
Yeah, it's too late for him to get back into the fight if he gets picked off there. So I wouldn't want to. I'd rather him staying in a baby dip form there. So this is the last attempt.
Ooh, he is gonna get picked off
gosh.
first there, however.
Yep. And this is bad.
We
for
see
the
that
side
yet
of-
another aggressive Transcendence coming out from Xeonflux, as he's just been popping out these Transcendences
man.
so liberally, and yet another set of ultimates coming out from the side of Incipience, and I believe that this is going to be the end for V1kings.Tempo, as this is going to be a very decisive, very clean 3-0 coming up from Incipience, as the map is going to end in, as the round 1 is going to end in their favor. Apologies,
Hold
ladies and
on
gentlemen.
there, hold on there.
Yep, and
Hold
this
the
is only
horses.
this is only one round coming up from the side of Incipience. They're only on the
Exactly.
defense, I forgot that.
Trying to get a
As,
little ahead of
I feel
yourself,
like
so
this has been
okay.
a long series.
It has. But I wouldn't rule out V1kings just yet. We've seen stranger things
definitely
happen.
with the potential of full holding this, as their tank composition has been very strong on Kings Row first point. As we saw
it has.
what they did on the attack earlier.
Oh man, are we going to see it again? The triple tank Zenyatta Lucio
I think they have to do it. I don't think Dive has the potential to full
No,
hold
it does
first
not.
point.
No, it does not. And I really want to see a Lucio Zenyatta triple tank composition with the Junkrat. Was it? It was the Junkrat, yes. that they ran, and it just worked wonders for them. And if they can make that work against a team of Incipience's caliber, Jesus, I would say they are back into this for sure. But this is where it is,
Yep.
right? This is what Vikings need to do. And just as we say that, a stat coming out of Cal again, Cryptic Pony. V1kings.Tempo Cryptic has played a total of 10 different heroes during the course of this tournament, with time on 6 offense, 1 defense, and 3 tank heroes. Wow. He has played
Super flexible player.
exactly 10 different heroes. I'm a Mercy main. I play 1 hero. And then someone asked me to go on Moira, and I really start shuddering in my boots. But I managed. Then someone asked me to go Zenyatta, and I'm like, what face? What face? Nope.
Yep.
And then there's people like Cryptic who play 10 different heroes. We saw him on that Zarya. He was the reason they got that point. On A. He charged up that huge amount of a huge amount of charge there with that with his bubbles, managing his bubbles very well. Took down Savage Dab very early on that Orisa, and that was it. That was the opening they needed to be able to push things through.
And V1kings.Tempo is actually going to make me eat my words. They're going to run they are going to run dive coming into this point, and I'm not sure how much I like this actually, because with Pharmacy, one of the disadvantages of Pharmacy on first point King's Row as a defense is that if the opponent sees this coming out, they can just swap onto a sniper composition, and there's absolutely nothing the defense can do to counter it.
You know what? They're not even gonna do it. They're not even gonna do it. They're just gonna play the same. They're just gonna stick with that Hanzo and have faith that Azalea is gonna be able to. Azalea trying to take him out with that. What's the skill even called?
Storm Arrow.
Storm Arrow, right?
Arrow.
So Azalea not being successful on that front, but now he's just gonna have to back off and.
Ooh, and Doubted is gonna. He's gonna make a very questionable jump there and get taken out. Azalea gets a pick onto Cryptic, who was in the air, and this is looking like a first point take here from the side of Incipience with the picks coming out onto both Doubted and Cryptic. Of course, the pick onto Cryptic a little bit unexpected, but I think Doubted completely got out of position there, going for a cute jump onto the high ground, but not realizing that basically all the members of Incipience were looking at him, staring him down, waiting for him to make a mistake. And that was the one mistake they needed, as Doubted going for a jump there, going to get taken down as he overextends.
Yep, and I gotta give props to Azalea there. He made that happen. That amount of damage he dished out on Doubted there just forced Doubted to just run for it, and Bubble Kitty was there with the finish. He got the last hit off. So that just really enabled them to be able to push that forward. And again, the follow-up kill as well. Now we look at a huge full-fledged fight now, and both sides lose, committing their ultimate. Jumo getting picked up. No, he's gonna be fine for the time being. So Incipience coming good with this attack. They're going to be able to take down 3 members on the side of V1kings.Tempo, and now Vikings look like they're in serious trouble. Jumo not going to be able to do enough just yet. This is just going to be a full-fledged sweep, and Incipience going to be popping that barrage as well to make sure the stagger kills keep coming down. And V1kings.Tempo, this is the end for V1kings.Tempo in this series. They're still not out of the tournament yet. This was the upper bracket final, so we do
both
have.
Teams here are actually guaranteed a top 3, and now with Incipience winning this match, Incipience is guaranteed a top 2. As V1kings.Tempo does fall to the lower bracket finals, they will face the winner between Point Break and Fantastic Fox that we're gonna see next.
Absolutely, I'm just as hyped for that match. I didn't expect a 3-0. Honestly, I expected this to be a little closer, but Incipience really coming through with a huge advantage over V1kings.Tempo. They just felt a lot more coordinated. The whole
we did get confirmation that Azalea was playing without a mic, so
yeah, we're looking at that right now.
yeah, Incipience really doing their work. As I said, I don't think their DPS comms really played a huge part, as I don't think Metallics was very instrumental to their comms anyway. But Azalea coming in, definitely showing his worth against V1kings.Tempo. As V1kings.Tempo, I think, like I said, they just couldn't find the Goldilocks comp, right? They couldn't find a comp that both dealt with the Pharmacy as well as dive. Because the Brigitte countered the dive very well. Because the moment they jump in, Brigitte takes out Tracer, and